Welcome back everybody to episode 2 of Timeboy Bob, the Timelocked Ironman. This is Bob. He's been sucked into a time slip and now has to work his way through RuneScape history to get back to his own timeline. This means he has to experience the content added to the game patch by patch and can only interact with what was in the game at that time. Last episode we covered the launch of RuneScape on January 4th, 2001. Today we will explore the very first patch, which released on January 21st. Before we start, let me quickly explain the rules for this account. For people who want the longer, more in-detail explanation, I recommend you watch the first video where I go more in-depth. Rule number 1. I am not a chunk account. I am not required to do absolutely everything or grind out everything. Number 2. This account is about the history of the game, not me proving I can make steel bars for 8,000 hours. Number 3. I have to experience all the content up to a reasonable amount. Due to the nature of the game, it's hard to make this rule concrete, as it is one we will have to determine video by video. Rule number 4. I can only use what was already in the game at the time of the patch I'm covering. That means items, places, travel methods, quests, random events, and anything else that is a part of this game. Rule number 5. If an item, monster, or quest mechanics have been updated throughout the years, I can use the version as it is today, since certain content simply isn't in the game anymore. Rule number 6. I can bank my items even if it wasn't a thing back then. Although for now we will be limited to the Vara Quest bank, which was the first bank ever added into the game. Rule number 7. I can level prayer, but I can't use it until a later patch when prayer was fixed. Rule number 8. I can do clues with my restrictions, but I cannot open the caskets yet. Rule number 9. I can run. Rule number 10, I will most likely make mess-ups here and there. The point is that we learn from our mistakes, that we learn about the history of the game, not to be hampered down too much by the restrictions, but we will follow them as closely as possible. So before we dive in, let me first say a sincere thank you. When I posted my first video, I made a thread on Reddit to announce it, and people immediately downvoted me and said I was just copying Jimmy's series by release, without actually watching my video. By the end of the day, about 20 people had clicked on it and 1 person had watched it until the end. So I gotta say I got a bit discouraged and was about ready to throw in the towel by the next day. I'd spent a few weeks making that first video only for it to be bashed into the ground on day 1 by people who refused to even watch it. But by the next day, about 100 more of you clicked on the video and quite a few took the time to leave nice comments. A few days later, that number went up to a few thousand people who had watched, and people still kept leaving nice comments. By the time of this recording, about 400 of you even subscribed to my channel, which I really appreciate immensely. So I want to thank you all for watching my video, sticking around for the second one, and taking a minute out of your day to leave a comment or drop a like. It does mean the world to me. This channel has already grown way more than I ever expected, and I can't wait to see what the future brings. If you want to experience it along with me, be sure to subscribe, which is the best way to allow this channel to grow and give me more options to provide consistent releases for you. With all that said, let's get into it. January 21st, 2001. The first real patch is added to RuneScape. Although, not really, because back in those days, they didn't do like one weekly patch like they did in the later years. But they did patches throughout the week, whenever they could actually, whenever something got fixed or whatever, they just implemented it into the game straight away. So there weren't patch notes for every small thing that was happening. They did release a newsletter on January 21st, which is why if you look at the wiki and you look at NPCs or items or whatever that was added in this patch, usually the date is gonna say January 21st, but it might have been released on the 19th, the 18th, whatever. The dates aren't always exactly correct because it just didn't get announced properly by Jagex. Either way, let's read the patch notes and see what was announced in Newsletter 1 and what we have to complete for this episode. The letter starts off with Andrew Gower, the guy who created this game, saying thank you and telling us that over the last few weeks, over 28,000 players have already tried out the game. The first new feature announced is the desert city of Al-Kharid. Now, if my sources are correct, the Al-Kharid mine was already available at the start, on January 4th. But beyond that, the desert was either blocked off or it was empty. I can't be 100% sure of that. But either way, the settlement that we now know as Al-Kharid, that wasn't there yet on January 4th, that was released on January 21st. So let's see what was already there and what our goals will be. They added a scimitar shop. They sell up to mithril simmies, so nothing really useful to us, but we can sell some of our own smithing over there. They added a furnace, which will actually be big for me, as I can now easily make steel. I will set myself the goal of 42 blacksmithing so I can upgrade my shield to a steel kite shield. Right now we're still stuck with an iron kite shield. They also added a silk trader. So what the patch notes say is that you can buy silk here and sell it at Varrock for a profit. It's not super exciting, but I guess we'll check out if that still works. They added another general store. Nice, but eh. They also added a plate mill leg shop. This is also an interesting one for me, since it sells a new best-in-slot upgrade for me, being the adamant plate legs. A kebab store got added. And I know it's not the most reliable thing in the game, but this does give me access to a new food source. The thing is that kebabs are not reliable, as I said. They basically have a random table of effects. Some kebabs will heal you and boost your stats. Some will just heal you. One effect does nothing, and two effects drain your skills. So we can use them when we get to more challenging content, but they might hold some risks as well. Other than that, we will of course explore Al-Kharid and see what else we can discover. The very first quest that was added to the game after the launch was Ernest the Chicken. Let's see what the patch notes say about that. Draynor Manor has been opened and there's spooky things inside. There's a vampire asleep in the cellar, and Professor Audenstein, who lives in the attic, has accidentally turned somebody into a chicken. To make things worse, gremlins have hidden parts of his machine, so he can't turn the chicken back. Can you find the missing pieces to complete this quest? I guess we'll have to see. Just so there's no confusion, though the vampire is mentioned in these notes, the Vampire Slayer quest was not yet added to the game. Also, they added the very first high scores in the patch notes themselves. The regular high scores, like most of us probably know them, they weren't on the website yet. They just added those to patch notes since there weren't that many people playing yet, and they just made like a top 25. And interestingly, the highest total level that somebody had in the first few weeks was level 506, and that went to the player Lightning. Lightning is actually an interesting figure, because she was once the #1 ranked player in RuneScape, and the time as #1 was during the very early stages of Classic. She was the first to achieve 500 total, 600 total, 700 and 800 total. She is also known to be the first true #1 in RuneScape due to the fact that she was the first person to hold #1 for a long period of time. However, sometime in mid-2001, Lightning was passed by a player called Tiwi and never regained the #1 status after that. She also became the very first player moderator in RuneScape and the second player to sign into RuneScape after the famous player called Rap. Okay, let's go back to the updates. What else? The Varrock Bank was nearly done, and they expected to add it later that same week. It was actually added 2 days after the block. Now, this didn't get added to the patch notes, but apparently for this patch they also added the blue wizards to the Wizard's Tower. Those of you who have watched episode 1 will probably remember that I did a long grind to get a blue wizard rope top and a hat. And eventually I did discover that there was no legitimate way to obtain the hat, and that the rope top was not in the game yet. So in between episodes I did drop both of them, and I will require myself to obtain them again the legit way this time. Another thing that happened in the last episode was that we bought a cape, and that I eventually discovered that I probably shouldn't have been wearing that since cape slots were not working yet. Now I did try to do a bit more research into that, but it is hard to find any exact data. From what I understand, either the skill slot did not work and you just couldn't equip your cape yet, or the skill slot did work, but the cape didn't give you any stats yet. But there seems to be no clear, definite answer, nor an endpoint when capes did eventually get fixed. So I decided that my character can wear a cape, but I have to earn it. I can't just go into a shop and buy it, at least not for my first cape. And this update is the perfect reason for that, since with the release of Draynor Village and Mansion, they also added a highwayman. which, as some of you probably know, always drops a black cape. Draynor Village was also added into the game with this patch, but it didn't really contain anything of interest yet. The bank wasn't there, the market stalls weren't there yet, it was just a few houses and NPCs, but nothing that's super relevant to us today. We will go deeper into Draynor in the future when we do the Vampire Slayer quest and stuff, but for now we'll focus mostly on the Ernest the Chicken quest and not really Draynor Village. And there's some other progression that I would like to achieve. I would like to raise my strength, attack and defense to base 40s. I would like to obtain 20 ranged and 20 magic. I would like to get my woodcutting and firemaking both up to level 30. Other than that, there were no real new monsters nor drops added this time, so we will not be required to kill anything except train our stats. So to summarize, our goals for today are explore Al-Kharid, try the silk merchant thing, buy best in slot legs, get 42 smithing and make steel kite shields, get the blue mage gear, get a highwayman cape, base 40 melee stats, 20 ranged, 20 mage, 30 woodcutting and 30 firemaking. Alright, with all that said, let's go! So let's get the most boring stuff out of the way first and let's get to smithing. There's 39 mining. Third inventory. I walked to Varrock with my ores by accident, so let's return to Lumbridge to smelt. I'm not sure if this is actually closer, but it does feel like it, so yeah. Okay, so I had a big brain moment. It's probably more efficient if I go back and forth a few times before banking. While we do that, I do owe you guys some more fun facts that I forgot to add to the last video. Remember the quest Romeo and Juliet which we did? I did discover something. You could fail the quest permanently. Juliet gives you a letter at a certain point that you have to bring to Romeo, and you can drop that letter and tell her that you lost it. She will then give you a second letter. If you drop that again, if you lose it again, she will get angry at you and refuse to give you another, blocking your progress. Though it was likely possible to get a second account to trade you a letter, since non-tradable items weren't really a thing back then. 40 mining. 6th inventory. So every time I'm here I see these bots with just mithril scimitars flinching scorpions. No clue where, but this guy has just got no clue why. 32 smithing. Okay, time for the 7th inventory. I also turned off most plugins by now. I might switch a few back on down the road, but let's try to keep it pure for now. 41 mining. 33 smithing. Okay, I got a clue, but I can't do this. I have to go to the plate skirt shop here in Al-Kharid, but they didn't get added to the game until February 1st. 42 mining. 34 smithing. 43 mining. 35 smithing. And here's a screenshot of our current stats. So I decided to try and find my most efficient route for this technique. What I'm gonna do is do a few runs with slight differences and see what gets me the most bars per hour. First, I'm going to time a run where I go once back and forth between the mine and the anvil, and then bank in Varrock. So that's about 9 bars in 15 minutes, so that comes down to about 36 bars an hour. Okay, now a second timed run. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna smith my 9 bars, then I'm gonna come back to the mine, I'm gonna mine the rest of my inventory full again, smelt those, and then go bank. That's a clue drop, but we can't do it. 44 mining, and another clue. that we can't do again. Okay, with that done, that's 15 bars in 22 minutes, which comes to about 40 bars an hour. Okay, third attempt. So I'm gonna do the same as in the last run, but I'm gonna do an extra inventory. So after I've went to the furnace twice, I'm gonna come back, mine again, go to the furnace again, and then go to Varrock. Alright, that took me about 26 minutes and gave me 19 bars, which comes down to about 43 bars an hour. Okay, fourth run. Now I'm gonna do the same as the last run, but with an extra inventory of mining. I did get some bad RNG during this one though. 45 mining. Okay, so that took me 34 minutes to get 22 bars. That comes down to about 38 bars an hour. This was with bad RNG, but I don't know if better RNG would have made that much of a difference. It seems to me that 3 runs for 19 bars is the best way to go for now. I didn't smith any bars during all those runs, so I'm gonna smith those now, and that gave us 36 smithing. We can also make a steel longsword now, which is our best new moneymaker. And here's a screenshot for 37 smithing. Okay, so some of you had some questions about the smithing rework I mentioned last episode. If you recall, I did say that back in the day, in the very, very early RuneScape Classic, that the progression you make in smithing wasn't in the same order as it is today. Okay, so some of you may be wondering how that could happen. The order that we have today is outdated, but it's logical. You go from bronze to iron to steel to mithril to adamant and so forth. Why would they give us such high requirements for what is essentially very low-level armor? Well, first, armor upgrades did feel huge back in RuneScape Classic days because there wasn't a lot of armor to go around and people had to make it for the most part since shops didn't restock. So armor in itself was already a rarity, and the very prestigious armor was only for the filthy rich. But the actual reason that the progression was so weird is because mining and smithing was kind of a rush job. How do I know this? Well, there is this book that I also mentioned in the last episode. It's called RuneScape, the First 20 Years in Illustrated History. It's really a beautiful book, and if you don't have it already and you are interested in the history of RuneScape, I do recommend getting it. It's an officially Jagex licensed book, so it's full of interviews with JMods, it's full of the history of RuneScape and concept art and old screenshots and everything. It's really interesting to read through. So in that book they mentioned that Andrew Gower had been working on RuneScape Classic ever since the summer of the year 2000 until January 4th, 2001. And he really wanted to push the game out. He wanted it released because he'd been spending 6 months working on nothing else but that. But he also wanted to give players a real incentive to stay, because as you can probably tell, a lot of the skills did not have a true endgame yet. So he made mining and smithing, which was going to be a way more demanding skill, way more time consuming, and this way he ensured that nobody would be finished with the content in the game for at least the foreseeable future. Thanks to the RuneScape Archive project on Discord, and specifically this user whose name I can't pronounce, I did find some information about it. I should mention though that either not all the levels are known still, or not all the items were in the game yet. Smithing did get a major overhaul in April of 2001 into the system that we still know today in old school RuneScape. The level you needed to smith an item was based on its tier. So a dagger was the lowest tier of item you could smith for any bar, being the very first you can smith, and going up higher by bar count. So stuff like two-handed swords, plate legs and plate mail were the highest tiers. So for bronze and iron, the lower levels were about the same as they are today, with some minor differences. But stuff like iron plate bodies went up to level 64. Steel plate bodies were level 99, and for mithril and adamant, all that we know is that their plate legs and bodies were also level 99. When I mentioned this in the previous episode, I did mistakenly claim that some higher tier items had lower level requirements than they do today, bringing some more powerful gear into the game early. But that wasn't actually the case. I did make a mistake there. I believed it when I said it, but it isn't completely true. Here you can see a full table of the information that we still have about the original smithing system. You can also find it on the RuneScape Classic wiki if you look up smithing/rework. 46 mining. Now that we're at it, let me give you one more interesting fact. And that is that prior to December of 2001, defense levels didn't matter for your armor. You could wear anything at any level. So thanks to that 37 smithing earlier, we can now make steel full helms, which are our best moneymaker so far. They give us 330 GP, which is 30 more than the steel longswords. I did the math and I need about 309 bars more to make a steel kite shield, so let's start run number 14. I got another clue here, which did look promising. But sadly, it wasn't meant to be. Okay, so previously I did have big brain moments with the multiple smithing runs, but my brain got even bigger. Because now I realized that if I just head past Lumbridge and take some coins with me, I can also buy some pots and I can go to the windmill and make some more flour, which I'm gonna need in the future since there's a lot of dough-based food coming our way. So I'm gonna be doing that from now on, which will also give me a bit more variety in my actions, even though it's not exactly the most thrilling content. But at least I won't be mining and smithing all day, every day. I missed a clip, but there's 47 mining. So here's a screenshot for 38 smithing. We did get 39 too, but I have no idea where the recording or the screenshot for it went, so sorry about that. 40 smithing. 49 mining. Okay, my head is about to explode because my brain just got even bigger. Okay, so I actually did something dumb in my big brain run recently with the flour and everything. What I did then was go 3 times back and forth between the Al-Kharid furnace and the Al-Kharid mine, and then go past Lumbridge. But Lumbridge also has a furnace, so what I'm gonna do now is go mine, go smelt it, mine some more, smelt it, mine some more, and then go smelt it in Lumbridge, then buy our pots there, and then go to the windmill. So that's gonna save us 1 trip to the Al-Kharid furnace and should hopefully up our experience per hour a bit. Okay, so what I've been doing so far is that I use my 9 empty inventory spots, fill those up with pots, and then drop the pots at the windmill before going to pick up the grain and then going upstairs in the windmill. During this run, somebody actually stole one of my pots, I believe. I definitely did drop 9 pots, but when I came back down there were only 8 left, so somebody probably took one to do cook's assistant with. You're welcome, buddy. 41 smithing. And our first level 50 mining. I had to change things up a bit because, yeah, mining and smithing is just dull work, but I got 23 woodcutting. While we were doing that, I also fudged with my settings a bit and I turned off the data orbs, which of course were not in the game back then. So now I can only see my prayer and my hit points by going into my skill tab. And I can only activate my run through the settings menu, which is more time accurate than what we were doing so far. 24 woodcutting. Here it is, the big level 42 smithing. I can now make the steel kite shield. Oh my god. Okay, for you guys this has been minutes, for me this has been over a week. I mean, I started my smithing goal pretty much the day that I dropped the first episode. So yeah, I've been in the Al-Kharid mine for quite a few days doing my most hated skill in the game. I know it's only level 42 now, but I'm glad that it's over. I have to admit something. I did cheat my restrictions a tiny bit. After finishing the goals for episode 1, I went to Draynor village and I did something I actually shouldn't be able to do due to my restrictions. I went to Django and I bought an Oculus Orb from him. Now, for those who do not know, the Oculus Orb is basically a camera that you can move around a bit, and it's great for making little scenes like the cutscenes that I put in these videos. I bought this item as an exception because it in no way benefits my character, but it does improve the quality of my videos. So I hope you guys understand why I made that choice. Remember in the last video where I talked about bear fur and its only use being that you can sell it to the fur trader? Well, let's put that into practice, I guess. Well, we're gonna sell all our items anyway. Okay, so I probably didn't mention this in the first episode, or maybe I did, but banknotes were not a thing back in the day. Of course, you couldn't bank your items, so banknotes wouldn't have had any use. But they did have a system in play before banknotes, which we will come back to later. They had a certificate system. For now, I'm just going to keep it as pure as possible, and I'm just going to fill my inventory with items rather than banknotes. I sold everything, or almost everything, and I just realized that I have an iron axe in my bag. Now, there weren't any iron axes in the game, there was just an axe, which was the equivalent of today's bronze axe, so I can't really have this item. I probably made it by accident, I'm not sure, but I will drop it, as well as 5 iron ores to compensate the experience I should not have gotten for making that axe. Right, I went to Al-Kharid to sell the final items, my scimitars and my plate legs, and now I can finally buy my best in-slot pants. And that's another goal completed! So here's the kebab store. It doesn't work like regular shops, you buy the items through dialogue one at a time. But it is still faster than making bread. How about a few quick fun facts? So Karim here, who is the kebab seller, he was just called kebab seller at first. In some later quests and dialogues, it is implied that kebabs are made from camel meat, so do with that information as you will. Kebabs are the only way to temporarily boost your melee stats in free-to-play, even though the effect is random, but it does work. Okay, so there's an inconsistency between wiki information and the update notes information. Okay, so the wiki says about kebabs that they used to have a hit point train, which was removed so people wouldn't die from it. Which is odd, because the actual update notes from this week say, eating kebabs has a random effect, they're normally good, but rumor has it that a few of them are a bit dodgy. They will never kill you though. So I'm not sure if the wiki got the information mixed up, or that when Andrew Gower wrote this post, his code wasn't functioning properly and people were dying from the kebabs. I'm not really sure right now. Maybe we'll figure it out in future patch notes, but for now, the update notes and the wiki page do say something different. Alright, back to the wizards. Last time we went 4 times the drop rate to get a blue wizard hat. Let's hope it doesn't come to that this time. Oh look, here you can actually see the kebab stat boost in action, which is not bad honestly. I mean, for a free-to-play item, yeah, I'll take it. And we got the rope top. Excellent. We will not be wearing it though, since the leather body has better mage defense. And the hat! Oh my god, we finally got the hat again. It didn't take us as long this time. Here you can see the loot tracker. Before we finish up in Al-Kharid, let's explore it a bit more. So remember the cape thing I said at the start of the episode? Well, I had not actually determined that yet when I started recording for this. So here I decided that my best fashion cape would be the chef hat, which does suit my character, to be fair. So for those wondering, this is the area of the map that I can currently visit. Not much has changed since last time, only Al-Kharid got added, but here is a reminder of where we can go. For some reason there's always dudes with mithril scimitars here. So as I said before, there was always some mithril scimitar bots running around and just flinching scorpions, and as you can see here, no matter what world I go to, there's always mithril scimitars flying around. So, you all want some trivia about the mine? Okay, here's the trivia. There are 14 scorpions in this mine. That's it. Also, silver and gold were not there yet at this time. Okay, so here we have the silk trader. If we try to haggle a bit, he will sell us a piece of silk for 2 GP. He also straight out tells us that we can sell it for more money in Varrock. I mean, dude, Varrock is like a 2-minute walk from here. You can just go make tons of profit by doing it yourself, but whatever. Okay, let's have a look at this house. So this is the shop, and as you can see, 2 people live here. There's a male shopkeeper and a female shop assistant. They might be a couple, they might not be, I'm not sure about that. But either way, there aren't really any other houses around, so let's check out their living conditions upstairs, since it's one of the few houses where we can actually go upstairs. This is kind of sad. I mean, where do they wash themselves? And do they share that bed, or the chaise lounge, as you should be calling it? Do they take turns? How does it work? Okay, two other interesting NPCs are Louis Legs and Ranil or whatever. They have similar functions. Louis, he sells plate legs, and Ranil sells plate skirts. But one is available to me and one isn't, since Ranil was only added 3 weeks after Louis. These Al-Kharid warriors were the first form of AFK NPC because they help each other in combat, allowing players to spend more time here without having to attack each enemy themselves. You all know Chancellor Hassan, the guy from Prince Ali Rescue. Well, that quest was not in the game yet. He will only be added in February 2001, so we can't really interact with him. But what is interesting is this glyph on his wall right here. The glyph was added in 2004, but it is found in several places around the map. And one is more strange than all the others. You can actually find them in real life. They are part of a clay tablet that you can still go visit in a museum in New York. It's part of a summoning ritual or an offering ritual to Anubis. Whatever. The glyphs were used on different textures throughout the game. If you look here, you can see that it used to be used in the textures upstairs in the Al-Kharid Palace. And here you can see it at the pyramid in Sophonim. But those textures have been changed, apparently. You can't find them there anymore. You can still see the pictures on the wiki. But interestingly, there is one place where they have remained. If you look carefully here at the gate support, at the mage arena in high-level wilderness, you can see that they use the same texture for those glyphs. That's the one that still remains in the game. Another fun fact, Al-Kharid was already on the Devious Mud map before RuneScape, though the spelling was different and it was clearly in another location. And that's it for Al-Kharid, that's another goal completed. All that remains is to see how much profit we can make from our silk and buy some more kebabs. Okay, I sold the silk, I got 16 coins for it, so that's a profit of 14 coins. It's not great, but for that time it probably wasn't terrible either. I mean, it is free money. Okay, so I bought over 1,000 bronze arrows, so I'm gonna see how well I do at hill giants. I'm not hitting very well to start with, but hopefully that will change soon. So I am wondering what to do with giant keys. I will obviously not be using them, but like clue scrolls, they might be a good thing to save up for when the time comes. Let me know in the comments what you think, but for now I will be picking them up and hold on to them for a very long time. And that's 5 ranged. And that's 22 Freyr. Now that was the same kill. Okay, we cut into it, so you probably don't realize how long that was, but for the people who watched the timer, that took me 5 minutes. One hill giant kill with my bronze arrows took me 5 minutes. Of course, I am only 5 ranged. 6 ranged. So, remember rule number 10, we will mess up? Well, we kinda did. For those who do not know, hill giants, they were in the game, but big bones were not added until August. I got 3 kills, including one that I got in the first episode, and that's 45 XP, 45 prayer XP that we got illegally. So I will be switching to a monster that drops regular bones, and I will be dropping 11 of their bones to compensate for the 45 experience. I swear I cannot make an episode of this show without screw-ups or corrections. That's 7 ranged, 8 ranged, 9 ranged, 10 ranged. Here you can see me dropping 11 bones because I kept forgetting to do so. There's 11 ranged. And there's 29 cooking from cooking the beef. Screenshot for 13 ranged, 14 ranged, 15 ranged. So, something I noticed just now. Screw up number 2. Or maybe more, I've lost track. Either way, my arrows. they auto-equip. I didn't even notice because I'm so used to it for other accounts. And at first I was confused, since you used to have to talk to the range tutor to make that happen, but I never talked to them, I never interacted with the range tutor in any way. Apparently, it got added to the settings menu nowadays, and it gets turned on automatically that your ammo is automatically equipped to your quiver. After noticing this, I did turn it off. Level 30 cooking. Okay, I'm just gonna be killing some guards for now. That's 16 ranged. $17 ranged. 34 hit points. 18 ranged. Oh, you are? So are you really gonna steal my guard kills? Come on, dude. Haha, revenge. Sit. 19 ranged. 20 ranged. That's another goal completed. And there's our next goal, get the Highwayman cape. Right, time to spend some of our money and buy some runes. Yeah, I'm not gonna put in all the screenshots, but I got 20 magic, I got 40 strength and 31 defense. Right, gonna fight some more guards. There's 32 defense and 43 combat. I decided to kill guards since they have high hit points and they don't hit too often and I can actually bury their bones, unlike hill giants. But sadly their drop table isn't very interesting. 33 attack. 37 hit points, 33 defense, 24 prayer, 44 combat. Went for a kebab run, 34 attack, 34 defense, 35 attack, 45 combat, 38 hit points, 35 defense. Some screenshots for 36 attack, 36 defense, 46 combat. I decided to stay at the Al-Kharid warriors since they are a good AFK training method and they are very close to the kebab store. 37 attack. There's 38 hit points. 25 prayer. By the way, if you notice that my prayer is drained, I have not been using it, but I have been eating kebabs, which drains some stats. And I guess my prayer got drained by it, because I see no other explanation as to why I lost some prayer points. 37 defense, 47 combat. 38 attack. Ooh, we found a clue that we can do. But I might try to juggle it, so I'm just gonna leave it here for now. 38 defense, 39 attack. 40 hit points, 48 combat. 39 defense. Okay, we got another clue. This one is in the Wizard's Tower, but sadly Cedridor, who I have to interact with, was not in the game until runecrafting launched with RuneScape 2, so we will be dropping this one. Oh my god, lads, I got a second doable clue. So, yeah, I'm gonna juggle them together and I'm gonna do them at the end of this. There's 26 prayer. There's 40 attack, that's another goal done, together with 49 combat. And there's 40 defense, and that's another goal done. And we got a total level of 400. Alright, so for our first clue, we have to talk with Veronica, who incidentally was also added with this patch because she's part of the Ernest the Chicken quest. Oh my god, and the second step is possible. We have to dig near the Draynor bank. we do have a spade now. More on how I obtained the spade later. Okay, and the third step, sadly it's a 3-step, but the third step is not possible. But luckily for us, we do have one doable clue waiting for us in Al-Kharid. And of course, beginner clues are never gonna be more than 3 steps, so either way we're gonna get a casket today. And as it should be, a casket on the third step. Now, this casket will be in my bank for a long time, but I'm glad we actually managed to do one. For those who are wondering, we have about 18 years of updates to go before we can open beginner clue caskets, so it's gonna be here for a while. Okay, so just like RuneScape bots, I will be woodcutting to level 30 right here. And there's another goal complete. While we're at it, let's get 30 fire making. Alright, we did it. We completed the first new content added to the game after launch. It was quite a journey, but I feel that we...
Hey, but Brass Necklace. Hey, can I call you Brassy? You said there was this chicken
Hey,
quest?
how about Ernest the Chicken?
Hey, you said you'd do the chicken quest.
Can you sing for me like Jimmy did?
Do your quest, bro. What's the matter? Can't handle a spooky house?
Alright. Yes, I know I have yet to do the Ernest the Chicken quest. Or do I? See? I already did it. But the things I saw there, they were a bit disturbing. So I will show you, but viewer discretion is advised.
There are places in Gielinor that we don't fully comprehend. Where spirits linger, where furniture moves, and nobody questions it.
My name is Timeboy Bob. I investigate the haunted, the cursed, and the historically suspicious. This is the case of Ernest the Chicken. Draynor Manor. Recently mapped, suspiciously cursed. Smells like wet planks, dust, and cabbage.
This town didn't even exist a few days ago. Now we've got a haunted house, missing people, rumors of a vampire, and a constant influx of new adventurers to deal with. And to make it worse, my wife has gotten killed like 8 times today.
My fiancé Ernest went into the manor to ask for directions, but he never came out. Please, can you help me?
I can assure you, ma'am, I'll find him. After all, I am the demon slayer of Varrock, the trimmer of unwilling sheep. I got my mind hardened in Reldo's library, my hand trained at the Al-Kharid mine.
Okay, but just find him, please.
As we set foot into the haunted manor, we were immediately struck with surprise.
Salutations. I am Dr. Konar Yount, paranormal enthusiast, spiritologist, candlestick collector. You must be Robert. Or is Bob your full name?
It's actually Bob Stuffer.
Ah, the pleasure is all mine, stuffer of Bobs.
So why are you here and why are you wearing a chef's hat?
I happen to also be the chef of this place. The smart and very handsome owner decided to hire someone of exceptional talent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just Count Draynor. I mean, there's portraits of him all over the place and he's barely disguised. I figured he was probably lonely, so I agreed to let him tag along. I mean, I didn't want to be rude. You can tag along, just don't get in the way.
Ah, of course. I shall adopt a respectable radius.
So the moment we stepped inside, it started. The temperature dropped, the lighting got weird, and then the chair. Dr. Yount, are you seeing this?
Ah, yes. 1 candlestick. Ha ha ha. 2 candlesticks. Ha ha ha.
It didn't chase, it didn't creak, it just moved when I wasn't looking, which somehow made it worse. So I found some poison. I'm not really a poison guy, but given current company, that might change.
He said that? I'd like to see him try. Ha ha ha.
Ah, Sarah Doman's laundry basket.
Ah, a closet revenant. Note the loose vertebrae. Classic non-aggressive hound posture.
Was that a person?
Yeah, after that I couldn't stop myself. I opened every wardrobe I saw.
Wardrobes are excellent spiritual containers. Memory vessels, you see. Softwood crypts. Hinged emotional echo chambers.
Everything about this place was wrong. The layout, the mood, the fact that somebody had clearly installed a basement lever puzzle for no reason.
Oh, lever-based interference. Spectral logic puzzles are extremely unstable. Sometimes they scream.
Yeah, perfect. I can't wait to get screamed at by archaic gaming mechanisms.
To be continued after the break. Tired of casting spells with your bare hands like some chump? Come on down to Zaf's staff shop, proudly located in central Varrock. We've got staves of air, staves of fire, staves of water, and staves of earth. That's 4 wooden sticks charged with the power of very basic runes.
Yeah, I swear they work. Last week somebody managed to kill a hill giant with only half an inventory of bread.
Real magic. Wow. Conveniently located next to the general store, the bank, and the guy who smells like dead bears.
I wish I could leave this building, if only for a few minutes.
Weapons seen on display may originate from future time periods and are not available for purchase. Zaf's staff shop is not liable for any anachronistic confusion, temporal disorientation, or item jealousy experienced by time slip sufferers. Please consult your local historian before attempting time-accurate loadouts.
Basement lever puzzles. A favorite of ghost designers, cursed architects, and whatever twisted soul built this place.
Ah, yes. A classic astral binding corridor. These levers likely represent spiritual pathways or digestive systems, or neither. Interpretive.
That's great. You've said that in 3 of these rooms now.
Progress, I believe, is not linear, my friend, especially in cursed real estate.
Okay, so we've been in this maze for an hour. He's called 3 doors symbolic, said the walls have memory, and referred to a lever as moody. I need him to go. Hey, doctor. For some reason I just can't stop thinking about those wardrobes, and I would love to get a count of how many there are exactly in this house. Do you think you could help me out?
Did you say count?
I believe I did.
I believe I can handle that, my friend. Hat! Oh, for crying out. You know what I mean.
Okay, good. That's one vampire-shaped problem handled for now. With Count Drama occupied elsewhere, I could finally think. Turns out that the puzzle wasn't about spiritual resonance or whatever, it was about remembering which lever I'd already pulled. Anyway, I got an oil can for some reason. Not sure what the intention of that is yet. I've done it, Yount. I got an oil can.
Ah, well done, my friend. And I counted 21 wardrobes. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, well done, buddy. He's definitely the lord of this manor, possibly even the one haunting it. And I'm pretty sure I saw him turn into a bat earlier. But he hasn't tried to eat me, so that's something. Also, he's not technically in the game yet, so it's not like I can actually stop him. But he's not exactly helping, so I think it's time for him to go. Look, Yount, I think I've got this part. You can get some air or mist or whatever it is you do.
Of course. the shadows grow opinionated. Farewell, my friend, until we meet again.
Oh well, I have a feeling we'll meet again sooner or later. Ernest was still missing, but I was deeper in now. The ghosts were quieter, the walls were louder, the smell of cabbage even more pungent. Something told me there was more to come. So at this point, I'd solved the basement puzzle, I escaped the floating chair, and I had to deal with a very obvious but very unhelpful vampire.
Hey! I am not at home. This is a completely normal crypt. Goodbye. Humans are not very smart. Ha ha ha! You probably couldn't tell, but it was me all along. Ha ha ha! Until next we meet, mortals. Ha ha ha!
In the attic, I found a scientist, a machine, and one extremely upset-looking chicken. The math was starting to add up. Oh, hello. I see you've met Ernest. He is a chicken now, but he didn't used to be. Long story, he needs reversing. I require 3 items. A pressure gauge, a rubber tube, and an oil can. Oh, I happen to already have the oil can. Good, that's 1. Now go get the others. And no, I won't help you further. That's not how this works. He sure had the energy of a man who builds chicken machines. I found a box labeled fish food. I remember I saw a fountain of fish outside. I remember I found poison. And I remembered I met Count Draynor. Yeah, this is revenge for the chair, for the bat, and the very unconvincing fake nose, honestly. Oh, that's where the pressure gauge was. Yeah, that was obviously my plan all along. I mean, a pressure gauge in a fountain, that's where I would put it, so yeah. I walked around some more, and then I heard something behind the door. Something was moving, behind the one locked door in the house. I mean, the tube was probably gonna be there, but I had no way to open it. I found a spade. This was exciting because the item had not been invented a few days ago. With nothing better to do, I dug up the local dung heap. And for once, that decision actually paid off. I found a key. So yeah, after acquiring the key, I went to the closet and a skeleton attacked me. He lost, I took his rubber tube. I don't think he needed it anymore. Excellent. Now stand back.
Are you the one that saved him? I saw him come out, but he ran straight past me shouting something about...
Right, that clears that up. I saved the man from poultry-based purgatory. I unmasked the vampire, kind of. I survived furniture attacks, I survived the skeleton, and for all that, I was paid 300 coins. Which, after tax, should get me a kebab and some runes. Alright, I hope you all enjoyed that, as well as the rest of the episode. Before we completely end it, let's do some more fun facts, because you guys know how it works by now. It is an early example of non-linear quest design in RuneScape, as all the required items can be gotten in any order, allowing players to explore the manor at their heart's content. Back before home teleports were a thing, it was likely you did this quest before you had any means of teleporting out. So when those doors locked behind you back in the early 2000s, it was genuinely a bit scary. You didn't know what was inside or if you would find an escape. I remember the first time I entered, that the door locked behind me and I clicked on it, I couldn't open it anymore, and that did frighten me a little bit, because up to now, I'd been used to RuneScape doors just being openable from all sides. I'd never seen a locked door in this game before. So the first time that happened, I was all alone in what was supposed to be a spooky haunted mansion, and For all I knew, it was full of demons and ghosts and witches and all kinds of enemies. Technically, if you're a member, you now have access to the Killer Watt plane after completing Ernest the Chicken, but obviously we're not gonna go there yet. These gallows in the garden, they sometimes show a hanging ghost. So it happens sometimes when you log in near the gallows. Apparently, according to an explanation I found on Reddit, it's code that was meant to be in a loop so that it repeats itself every now and again. But the code was not implemented correctly, so it only happens once instead of repeating itself. So a player logging in near the gallows is the trigger that makes it happen, but it's not gonna happen again if you just wait next to the gallows or something. You really have to log in to make it happen. So it's pretty common knowledge that Draynor cabbages are slightly different from regular ones, which is why they cannot be used in a later quest, the Black Knight's Fortress. But did you know that they give a stat boost? They up your defense, which is one of the only ways to get a defense boost in free-to-play. The only other method is kebabs, but like we said before, that's not reliable. But these cabbages were not added at the same time. Draynor cabbages have only entered the game during April of 2001. These cabbages cannot be sold at the GE, you can't use them to protect your farming patches, tool leprechauns won't note them, and you can't put them in a sack. And that's it for the Draynor Manor fun facts for this week. Did I forget anything? Maybe some of you have some more fun facts about some of the places that we visited so far that I didn't stumble upon yet. Be sure to let me know in the comments. You guys have been really active in the comments and I try to respond to everything. I really appreciate you taking some time out of your day to leave a nice comment or a like or subscribe to my channel or whatever. It's appreciated immensely. I hope to be able to do this series for a very long time. That's why I need you guys' support, of course, to make sure that my channel grows a bit and that I can come to a point where I can really invest more time into long grinds and everything. As for now, this is a side project I'm doing besides another side project and a full-time job. So I have to divide my time a bit and I can't guarantee that every episode will come as quickly as this one did. But I do hope to keep producing content for you guys and to keep these episodes coming. That all said, in the next episode we will be doing some small patches as well as discovering a new quest. With that all said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share it, like it, subscribe it, whatever you can do to support this channel. It's immensely appreciated. Right, let's leave it at that. We'll see each other in a few weeks. More to come.